I'm Mitchell Krawiec-Thayer, and this video demos Operator Aware, a quality assurance tool that I built to assist 911 call center supervisors. Just a quick heads up, this presentation will contain content from real 911 calls. I realized that a system like Operator Aware was needed when I read a series of tragic stories about deaths and trauma caused by 911 operators that willfully neglected their duties. Here's a recent call answered by an Albuquerque dispatcher whose choice to ignore the emergency cost an innocent man his life. The caller immediately stated that they were performing CPR, and the operator understood that this was a medical emergency, and in fact asked if the victim was breathing. Horrifyingly, the operator then lost their patience. Despite the caller's desperate pleas that their friend was dying, the dispatcher terminated the call, which prevented medical teams from arriving in time to save the victim's life. I began researching this problem, and I learned that in most cases, a retrospective audit turns up years of mishandled calls by these same operators. In other words, these tragic accidents are not once-off unpredictable events. Rather, they are nearly always the latest and hopefully last in a long string of mishandled calls. This seems like something that should be preventable by even the most rudimentary quality control standards, and I wondered how could supervisors miss this behavior for years? Digging deeper, I learned that most 911 calls are routed through enormous consolidated centers that receive tens of millions of calls per year. On the left, I show a representative breakdown of 40,000 calls received daily by a New York City call center. The blue slice shows the 45% of calls that were treated as emergencies. In these cases, subsequent action was taken, such as dispatching police, EMTs, and/or the fire department. On an average day, more than half of the calls shown by the orange slice did not result in any subsequent action. This is typically due to non-emergencies, wrong numbers, and missed dials. However, a supervisor must review these 22,000 calls without action to make sure that they don't contain any emergencies that were mishandled. As you can imagine, this is a real needle in the haystack problem for the supervisor. They're looking for maybe a 30-second call with a mishandled emergency buried in a haystack of 300 hours of wrong numbers and butt dials recorded daily. The prospect of spot checking 22,000 calls daily is overwhelming, and this approach is simply ineffective. To address this, I've built a tool that automates the bulk scanning and evaluation to detect negligent operators. Operator Aware augments the supervisor interface by preemptively processing the audio and flagging calls that warrant review. Now, our supervisor is empowered to hone in on the calls that may necessitate an intervention. While she is of course free to review any of the audio, Operator Aware will draw her attention towards probable mishandled emergencies, such as calls mentioning weapons, fires, or car accidents where the dispatcher did not follow up with any action. You can try this out yourself at operatoraware.com. Simply upload some audio files, authenticate as a supervisor, and let Operator Aware show you which calls contained emergencies. The algorithm is set up in two phases. The training phase involves using labeled call audio to generate a relevant dictionary, for example, recognizing that the words burn and flame typically correspond to a fire. This dictionary generation is an initialization step that only needs to happen once and can be updated at any time. The evaluation phase continually processes new interactions. Callers and dispatchers generate audio that is first transcribed by sending the signal to a Google Cloud API in exchange for the text. Feature matching against the dictionary identifies types of emergencies that may be present in each call. This information is used to decide which calls warrant review, and those interactions are highlighted on the supervisor dashboard to optimize the use of their time. By recommending review of the most suspect calls, Operator Aware allows supervisors to detect negligent operators quickly and take them away from the phones before their carelessness can result in lost lives. Thank you for listening. I'm Mitchell Krawiec-Thayer, and I studied machine learning while obtaining my PhD in chemistry from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. I'm a vocalist, a chess nerd, and I love spending time hiking and biking with my friends and family. Thank you.